alive! She's alive!
Internet. Well, once again, it's been a while. Work has been completely nuts, which is great because I work for myself, so it means I get money. But the whole time I've just been thinking about building this car. You know what? I'm starving. I can't do this. I need to get some food first. Would you like to have a double barbecue bacon stacker burger? No, just add in a meal with a Coke. Hey, yeah, cool. Okay, thanks. Awesome, thanks. Look at the amount of cheese, well, rubber on that. That's why. Yeah, right, anyway, where was I? Yeah, so I just spent the week in Sydney for work, and I was getting pangs of wanting to work on this car, so I did a lot of internet shopping. Got myself some toe straps, which I needed for the front and the back of the car, and to support the best YouTube channel ever, Mighty Car Mods, I bought their new straps that they've just released. So I got red chop straps at the front and back, because I'd rather give those boys the money than anybody else. I've got a steering wheel boss kit, and I'll see how the distance is looking from the seat, and then I'm going to look at which steering wheel I need, whether I need a deep dish or a flat for distance, because obviously the seat position will be my leg length for the pedals, and then I can adjust the steering in and out with different clamps and quick releases to make it fit. I got some bonnet pins because I need to do that soon, and for racing I need to actually have the bonnet secured other than just the standard latch. I just stopped by Autobarn and got some gearbox oil and some paint just for the engine bay to clean it up, get rid of some rust spots and all that sort of crap. I managed to get a new battery, which is really cool. I was going to go and fork out for a new one, and my wrecker has a whole rack of batteries from pretty new cars that are written off, so these batteries are not old at all. So I got a pretty decent sized one, because obviously it's going in the back and weight's not an issue because I need it to be a ton all up. So I've got a good battery for $50, which is way better than paying 180 odd for one, brand new. Yeah, and I got a bunch of other little things. So today we're going to go down there, sort out the engine bay, get rid of the aircon radiator, the rest of the aircon pipes. I got a bit of grime and stuff from the usual crap from a 20-year-old car, so we'll clean that out and then see how energetic I'm feeling and maybe try and slip the engine back in. Let's do it. Oh, here she is. Still missing an engine. It's time to give this a degrease, get rid of all the crap in there, give it a bit of a spray, and then we're going to take out the aircon radiator and all the aircon pipes we don't need. I'm going to give all this a bit of a sand down and a spray, get rid of those little bits of rust, and then we'll probably slap the engine back in, I reckon. Phew. Giving the engine bay a clean up, and I pushed this car back into the shed by myself. It freaking sucked. Bonnet came up super duper clean, which is awesome. So I'm just letting everything dry. I've just done a bit of paint here. It's a bit rough, but this is all going to be covered over with an airbox anyway, so it doesn't matter. Just got rid of some of the rust, filed that down, and just sprayed up the crash bar, got rid of all the rust on that, and gave it a spray. Now I'm going to pop off the rocker cover here, give that a clean up, and spray it blue, because race car, that's why. Just got the head off, the rocker cover off, sorry. I'm giving it a clean up. It was gross in here. The channel here, covered up by this plate, which is the breather return lines, and it was just crappy, chunky creosote and shit in here.
So I'm going to hazard a guess that they didn't change the oil very regularly. Hopefully it's not too bad in the rest of the engine, and most of it was just caught in that plate, which I'm guessing is what it's for. Bit gross, but we're giving it a good clean out, and then we can paint her up. Alright, a couple of coats of primer on this guy, and then we can paint it blue. Ooh, pretty. First coat, I'm really digging the matte finish, it's cool. Inside, it is now time to get rid of the rest of the auxiliary crap in here. So we need to get rid of this radiator and all the aircon hoses, ditch all of them, try and flog them off to somebody, and yeah, when rock cover's dry, back on, have a crack and put it back together. Done. All the junk is out. Not that it weighs much, but it's made a little more room in the engine bay, which is cool. A bit more airflow to the rad. Just got the condenser inside, which is a project for another day. I'll rip the dashboard out and get out the heater core and the condenser. Get rid of that weight, and then I'll bundle it all together and somebody can pay me millions of dollars for it. So one of the things I want to do before we put the engine back in is work on the engine mounts. So my mate Travis, who knows a lot about cars and quite a lot about racing, has suggested something that he's done with his cars in the past. Many guys weld these solid so they don't have any flex, but basically in the end it will kill your gearbox just through the shocks. So what I'm going to do is clean them up, and I've got the really high density window sealant that you use for locking the windscreen in. We fill in all the gaps and basically just make it really stiff. So it's a lot stiffer than it normally would be, but it still gives you some flexibility. You only need to do it to the north and south, because obviously the way the engine rotates, east-west aren't a problem. But yeah, we'll give that a go. I just got the mount off the bracket. We'll give it a clean up, and then we'll fill it up and see what happens. Hopefully it fixes fix it nice and stiff. Okay, let's give this sealant jobby a go. This one's pretty stiff, but this one is just rickety as. Can't do it one hand, but it's really floppy. So we'll fill it and see what happens. Alright, that's enough for today. Rocket cover's painted. Just wait till it properly dries until I bolt it all back together. Dad's letting me keep the car in the garage for a few days, so that's nice. Fixed up a bunch of other little stuff, whipped out all the aircon, painted some stuff up, new fuel filter, all that junk. Come back on Tuesday. Okie dokie, so it's Tuesday and we're back. I'm gonna pop that guy in there today, hopefully. In there somewhere. The engine mounts are starting to dry, they're starting to get gooey, but they're not drying quite as well as I'd like. My old man redid them yesterday. All the bits that leaked out. I get a fair feeling that I've got the wrong sealant for this, but we'll see how it goes. So normally you wouldn't put an engine in by yourself, but I'm here by myself and I want to get this engine in. So this could be some pretty interesting footage and time lapse of me struggling with this sucker to get it back in. Let's see what happens. Well, that was much easier than I expected. I guess it helps when the engine weighs as much as a couple of sacks of potatoes compared to other cars I've worked on, like my GT4 Celica, which the transaxle and engine on that thing weighed, God, it must have weighed about 300 kilos, I reckon, 400 kilos. This thing doesn't weigh anywhere near that much, so it went in fairly easy. I've got the east-west mounts in. And now I just start connecting crap up. I'll jack it up, put the cross member underneath. Now I can do north-south mounts. And yeah, good stuff. Huzzah! All back in. So we've got the wiring loom all hooked up except for one plug, which I have no idea what it hooks up to. So I'm going to remember that, and hopefully once everything else goes back in it'll make sense. Power steering's hooked back up, looms back in, clutch, slave cylinder, gear selectors, speedo, everything is back in. Obviously we still don't have the front and rear mounts in, so next thing we're going to do is jack it up, put the drive shafts back in, the front and rear mounts back in, and that'll look good. Far out. You know when you say you're going to get a job done, you're like, yeah, I'll easily get this car done in a day, you know, and get the engine back and all that stuff. And then you spend 2 hours looking for the stupid key for the wheels. Anyway, now I can take the wheels off and get the drive shafts back in. Bloody thing. One thing I can't stand is when people put cars back together filthy. It makes no sense to me. Why the hell wouldn't you clean it while it's apart? So we're going to pressure wash the cross member because it's gross and put it back in clean. Cool, drive shafts are back in. Pretty fiddly. Now we can put this cross member in and the exhaust. Huzzah! I'm going to put you back there and see if that works. It probably does not. Okay, cross member and engine mounts are in. Got the exhaust back on. Obviously this is all going to be replaced later on, but just so we keep in good with the neighbours, I'm going to put this on to start it. Time for fluids. I took a lot longer doing the gearbox oil than I thought I would because I forgot I don't have a proper gearbox oil pump. So I was jimmy rigging all sorts of pipes and crap to make it happen and lost a lot on the ground. It sucked. She's alive! She's alive! With a really ghetto rigged battery. Holy moly. But she started. Well, I've just remembered the joys of old cars and not knowing the history of them. So I just got it started, went for a drive, and it is making exactly the same crunching gearbox noise. I thought it was the thrust bearing on the clutch. Clearly it isn't. I'm hazarding a guess the gearbox is buggered. Sure. So, now I've got to assess what the hell to do with this guy. It starts, it's got a new clutch in it. Everything's pretty good except for this god-awful noise in the gearbox. I don't know. I can't be bothered thinking about this today. I think it's going to go back outside. I will reassess and figure out my options.
Well, that was a pretty shit end to the day. Look, it's not a huge deal. The gearbox is inexpensive. I saw one for sale yesterday that got snatched up for 150 bucks. I think that's about the going price. I could rebuild this one, but I think the rebuild kit, the time, all that, it'll probably end up costing more and just take a lot of time. But I'll probably keep this one and rebuild it over time as a spare. It's more the time to change it over. I think I can get away with not dropping the engine off, as I don't need to take the bell housing off too, just the gearbox. I think if I drop that cross member down, it'll swing enough where I can get the gearbox off cleanly. So yeah, time to hunt for a new gearbox. Unfortunately, also I had a trailer organised, which I was really excited about. I was going to do a video on picking it up. Great little trailer, dual axle with leaf springs. It was actually made for an XL, so it was a perfect size, good brakes. It was a really good price. And then the arsehole messaged me about 20 minutes after I realised the gearbox was shagged, saying he doesn't want to sell it anymore. So that put me in a really shitty mood, but what can you do? This is all the fun and games of building cars and race cars and all that crap. Some days are fantastic and you're out on the track, or you put something cool on the car and it works even better. Other days your gearbox blows and some wanker screws you over with the trailer. Anyway, I'm driving home now to my wife who's making me dinner, and I'm going to thrash the crap out of my Sora with the beautiful 1JZ in it. So everything will be right in the world again. I will see you guys next time with hopefully a better video.